This is disputed territory, a wilderness where gun battles between militarized police and indigenous Mapuche rebel groups are frequent. This sign reads, "Territory in recovery, forestry companies out." We've come to meet Marcelo MARIN and his 16-year-old son Brandon, who are fighting to take over this land.
This land belonged to my grandfather and was taken from him, and we've come to recover it. My son and I have been living here for 8 months, but the rest of the family gave up because they're afraid that someone might be injured, jailed, or killed by militarized police.
He blames the forestry company that legally owns the land for burning his cabin 3 times.
We want the forest companies to go back to where they came from, because this is Mapuche land.
The Marins are clearing eucalyptus trees, part of a lucrative forestry industry that's sucking up most of the water. But at the top of the hill, there's an oasis. It's what's left of a native forest that once covered south-central Chile, replaced by imported species like eucalyptus and pine. The forest is brimming with moss, ferns, and other plants used for making Mapuche medicine. Marin says this is used for dyeing wool, and this for weaving baskets.
For us Mapuche, the native forest is life. That's why we protect it. We have a spiritual relationship with it. It's as important as water.
But outside of this magical forest, the land conflict is becoming more violent, taking the lives of scores of Mapuche, police, and Chileans who believe they've an equal right to live and work here. Mapuches make up more than 10% of the population and are the poorest segment of society. Far away in the capital, an indigenous Mapuche, linguist Elisa Loncon, is presiding over Chile's constitutional convention, something unthinkable just a few years ago. It's meant to send a message that a new constitution can lay the groundwork for a plurinational state and dialogue with those who are fighting for an autonomous Mapuche nation. But militant leaders like Juan PICHUN reject the entire process.
The only exception would be if the convention discussed territory and autonomy for the Mapuche people and nation, but that's difficult to imagine. Why should I believe the country that killed and invaded us?
PICHUN tells me he won't respond to a summons by a prosecutor investigating him for alleged illegal possession of weapons of war. Instead, he plans to drop out of sight, perhaps in the Marin's native forest, or in the increasingly vast areas of south-central Chile that the Chilean state no longer seems to control. Lucia, Newman, Al Jazeera, MALLECO, Chile.